Hey loves, it's Britt, and in this video I'm continuing my Sun Through the Houses series in Synastry. In this video I'm going to talk about what it means to have your sun falling into someone's 8th house in Synastry, or their sun falling into your 8th house in Synastry. So this one might be one of the most powerfully felt overlays. The 8th house tends to bring up a lot of intense emotions in us when someone's planets are falling in our 8th house. There tends to be a deep stirring of unconscious pain, fears, traumas. Deep feelings of all kinds are really brought to the surface, and you can look at the person's sign on the 8th house cusp and what planet is in there, what's going on there natally, to see what the sun person is bringing up for the 8th house person. But usually it's going to be quite a lot is being brought up. And so the sun person can feel like the 8th house person is sort of a mystery. There's something secretive about them. There's something deep and intense about them. Like they can kind of feel like they have a power over them because their sun, their basic identity, their light is falling into this very secretive, deep part of the house person. So both people can kind of take a second look at each other here. If they're just passing by and there's just there's something here. Like if you've ever heard people talk about someone they've met or, someone they've dated, or like at the beginning, you could hear them say something like, there's just something there, I don't know what it is. Maybe I can't put words to it, but it's some deep emotional thing. And actually that's kind of characteristic of all of the water houses, the 4th, the 8th, the 12th. When someone's sun or planets are falling there in your natal chart, you get that feeling of like, there's something there. I don't know how to describe it, but it's very deep, okay? So this one, though, does tend to be the more intense of basically any house placement to have our sun falling in someone's chart, because there does tend to be a passionate or sexual energy that's brought up here. It does tend to create a lot of sexual attraction, but different than sun in the 5th house, where we have all these passionate romantic feelings and sexual feelings. This is more sex rooted in fear almost. And that's a big part of 8th house overlays, is that we can be so attracted to someone and also simultaneously fear the power that they have over us. So that can be how the 8th house person feels. And, this isn't really a comfortable, like comfy, cozy overlay either. So if the rest of the synastry is otherwise, more difficult or more challenging, this might not be a welcoming feeling. This might not be, this doesn't create a feeling of, trust or intimacy if there's not other indicators of that. Sometimes 8th house synastry as well as Pluto synastry can actually create a lot of fear and paranoia even. So the house person can feel like the sun person is shining a light in these dark recesses of their heart and soul and pain, and it can feel a bit exposing. It can feel a bit vulnerable, and depending on the 8th house person's chart, like that might not be something that they're really into. But if they are more prone to that type of energy, they're scorpionic or plutonic, they're gonna love it. And it can be super addicting because with this overlay, the house person can feel like they found someone who sees all those vulnerable parts of them, and yet if the rest of the synastry is good, the composite chart's good, they can have this deep level of trust and intimacy, and it's definitely a very emotional connection. But the house person can also really fear losing the sun person. That's something that is also characteristic of eighth house or plutonic overlays, is it can bring up feelings of loss or vulnerability or, possessiveness, wanting to own another human, wanting to control another human. So similar to the second house overlay, feelings of possessiveness, feelings of jealousy can come up. Feelings like the house person can really, because they seem so, the sun is like this bright light that's shining on these deep dark parts of them. They can want to subdue the sun. They can want to basically become addicted to what the sun is giving them, which is this light and healing in these dark parts of themselves. So it's very intense. It's very even hard to describe. These eighth house overlays are not for the faint of heart, for sure. Can also see that the sun person brings financial gain to the house person as well. That's something that's characteristic of sun in the second or sun in the eighth overlay. And so there can be gain in resources through this, and not just financial resources, but also resources of a more emotional nature. The healing, the growth, the level of passion that can exist here can end up being an asset to both people. So the sun person, now how the sun person feels about all of this. So like I said, the sun person can feel like the eighth house person is this very, secretive or intense or scorpionic type. They can be wildly attracted to the eighth house person, because the eighth house person is sexy and mysterious and passionate and intense. They can sometimes feel that because the eighth house is not a super outward place, they could feel that the house person isn't showing them off, like this is a more, not secret relationship like the 12th house, but the sun person can feel like the 8th house person is not as public with the relationship as maybe they would like. It doesn't put their sun in a very powerful place like sun in the 1st or sun in the 10th, where you're getting that feeling that you're just being shown off for all that you are. It's a more hidden place. This is a more inward relationship. This is a more psychologically valuable relationship rather than, valuable for being seen in the public eye. That's what the sun person can feel like, is that this isn't a relationship where they're being shown off by the house person. It's more the house person is using them for some psychological need, and that can still be very attractive, if the sun is a more private person, or if they have other overlays that show that the relationship is more in the spotlight or whatever, if that's what they like. But yeah, the nature of this overlay is secrecy, hidden things. If they can get past the feeling of fear or distrust of each other, that is when this can develop into a very deep emotional bond that is very healing for both of them. And the level of passion and attraction is so high. It's definitely going to be an unforgettable relationship. If they do part, there can be hurt feelings. When someone is in your 8th house, you could be the most forgiving person ever, but things get sticky, things get ugly, and it can be hard to remain friends. It can be, yeah, someone is hurt, and not necessarily the house person either. It could be the sun person. It's not at all a lighthearted overlay. And if the rest of the synastry is overly plutonic as well, then this can definitely show a lot of strong feelings for better or for worse. So I would love to know your experience of this overlay. Was it like this? Was it not like this? Let me know in the comments, you guys, and thanks for watching. Bye.